Good evening and welcome to round 9 of Apex this season 20 GT3. I'm Daniel Zippy Salmon, an up-and-coming producer, experienced commentator, good example, ladies and gentlemen, experienced commentator and amateur stand-up comedian. I'm going to be joined tonight by the most outrageous shirt going on any kind of broadcast you'll see on the iRacing service, and certainly on Pit Road Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Richard Swindells. Oh, hang on. Okay, try that again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Swindells, and I'm here to help out Zippy and provide some additional track and driver information to you, the audience. Not helping them on production, just letting you know that. But if you've been following the Olympics, I'm kind of playing the part of Snoop Dogg with my personality, good looks, and great wardrobe. Now let's take a quick look at what you can look forward to with Apex This Season 20 GT3 live on Pit Road Productions. As was said, we are on week 9, circuit to Barcelona-Catalunya. Week 10, we've got August 18th, we're going to Imola. Week 11, Virginia International Raceway, we're doing the full course, and we're closing out the season at the home of Apex This, the Circuit of the Americas. Now, Zippy, can you tell us a little bit about the track we're going to today?
Well, I gotta be honest, it is the Wikipedia special, ladies and gentlemen. So the circuit, the Barcelona-Catalunya, was built in 1991. So it's actually 32 years old. The reason I know that, I'm born in 1990, please don't hold that against me, and began hosting the Spanish Grand Prix that same year. Construction also coincided, ironically, with the Olympic Games, scheduled to take place in Barcelona the following year, where the circuit acted as a start and finish line for the road team time trial cycling event. I gotta be honest, I'm not going to be doing that. With a capacity of 140,000, it was the circuit where in 2016, Max Verstappen got his first of many ever Formula 1 Grand Prix winners. I think I just saw something out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not going to repeat what it was. Anyway, moving on. Formula 1 drivers and mechanics are extremely familiar with it, and this has actually led to criticism that drivers and mechanics are too familiar with Catalunya, reducing the amount of on-track action.
The circuit's hosted many international racing series, including F1, MotoGP, the FIA Sports Car Championship, European Touring Car Championship, FIA GT Championship, as well as the European Le Mans Series and many more.
Well, we are going to get straight over to qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, and see exactly what's going on. To do that, let's make sure I can hit the right button for you. It looks promising, and there we go. The audio should be back. So again, as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you spot something going on in the broadcast that I may have made a little bit of a whoops, by all means tell me. Don't let me do the whole show making a fool of myself. I can do that completely effortlessly. It's going so well. This is what happens when you commentate 3 shows in a day. It's going completely effortlessly. Okay, I found my kryptonite for words tonight. It's almost as outrageous as Richard Swindells' shirt, but right now you can see there, who are we on board with? Let's take a quick peek, and it is Mark Miller. Now, that is one of the people in the championship battle right now. Give me 1 second. I did write it down. Let's have a look here. Where did I put it? That's the bigger question. Here we go. I'll find it in a minute.
Yeah, Mark Miller's had a very successful season. I believe he's in first right now overall in the championship.
Yes,
he's always,
there we go.
Yes, Mark is always up near the front. Not necessarily getting the wins, but he's being consistent, and that's keeping him up towards the front of the pack and leading in this series.
Well, attrition can be the name of the game. And actually, speaking of championship standards, so as we were saying, Mark Miller, he's currently in first, and this gentleman here, if I can get a camera on him, there you go, Philip Adams. He's currently second in the championship, with the following gentleman here, Neil McDougall, in third. Actually, these guys having a very good race last week. Not so much for McDougall there, but Mark Miller, Philip Adams. Actually, no, all 3 of them did. It's just the order was a different way around. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But
yeah, Neil dominated last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, he was the race winner. So definitely we're going to see how he can do today. But let's have a look, see if we can find somebody who's currently just started a flying lap. Let's have a quick peek through the field. Unless there's someone in particular you'd like me to pick out there, Mr. Richard.
No, let's see somebody going close to the start there, Zippy, and follow them around.
Well, I will do my best to find someone for us. I have to admit, it's not one of my most familiar tracks.
Well, that's okay. I've raced on this for 24 hours one time. That was my first ever time out. It looks like Philip here is going out early on the track. Not sure where he is right now on the circuit, to be honest with you. This is running the 1995 historic version, so it's a little different from some of the other ones that I've normally run.
I have to confess, it is not the track that I was expecting, but you can see the grandstands there. I'm not sure we've got 140,000 people in the stands tonight, but you know what? If we can get 140,000 people in the stream, I gotta be honest, at that point, I would probably happily retire and call it a win, but I enjoy doing this just a little bit too much. But currently, it looks like we're on board with Philip Adams, and we're gonna stick with him for now and try and find when we get to the start of that lap.
Yeah, he's coming around. Looks like the last couple of corners, he's just about to enter. It looks like turn 12, the last corner, just about to come down the straightaway to start his flying lap. Let's see how he does on this.
I'm going to find you a track map in just a second, but he's absolutely hammering it down, using all the power that that Corvette has to offer. And it's fair to say it's definitely not as powerful as a wheelbarrow. It's got a lot more. All the horses in high demand as he goes, absolutely using as much of the track as possible. Aims for that little yellow curb on the apex there. And again, very similar to Cota in that aspect in some ways. You know, the chicane's going through Cota. And then a long sweeping right-hander, generally bleeding the steering out very gradually. Very similar to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And as you can see here, using the track limits as much as possible is going to be a key part to success.
Yeah, okay. Catalunya, you've definitely got to make use of all the curbs, especially coming through first couple of corners. Even here, you've got to use all the curb on the entry, all the curb out onto the AstroTurf on the exit. If you don't do that, you're not going to be successful here. This is a tricky turn here, turning left, right. You got to let off the throttle, get back on the throttle very quickly, and then coming into the 90-degree right-hander.
Well, I did just try and send my colleague a track map. I'm hoping it's the right layout, but it's fair to say there is a lot going on. And actually, Richard, I would expect this to be on your Princess-approved track list, if anything, sir. After driving 24 hours at it, I'd hope you'd know your way around.
Well, you know, Zippy, that's a funny story. It was Vincent Wood, who's, I believe, in the session. He's out there in 12th right now. Less than 24 hours before a 24-hour endurance race, Vincent asked me if I'd join them in a car I'd never driven on a track I'd never driven. So I quickly got up to speed as much as I could in the McLaren GT4 and learned the track and did my best. Needless to say, we didn't do well, but it wasn't all my fault.
Well, there you go. Absolutely throwing his comrades under the bus there, and I don't think they even got a chance to get a bus ticket, ladies and gentlemen. But as we can see from the timings right now, Ryan Otis is out in front. That is the number 16 car. I say he's out in front. He's not currently on the track. So Rob Campbell, how about him? Here we go. There you go. And I got to remember, I don't think Rob Campbell I've seen for a while, but you was telling me he used to be one of the broadcasters.
Yeah, Rob driving the Lunatic Racing car, looks like Porsche there, used to, for a number of seasons, broadcast on Apex this. And on more than one occasion, I actually joined Rob in the booth. So this is kind of like a deja vu here.
Well, it looks like these guys have brought qualifying to an end, and it's no wonder I'm having a hard time finding somebody who is still moving on the track. That definitely did not quite go to plan how I intended it. But ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm pretty sure you're used to the fact that it's a learning curve for me, ladies and gentlemen. And it's fair to say, well, I want to actually give you guys an update that there is updates coming. I have managed to hire somebody who's going to be making us a nice custom template. I don't know why I'm gesturing to the template in front of you at this point, because let's be real, you guys can't see it, but it is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the updates, and definitely there is going to be some more big news with Pit Road Production coming in the next 4 weeks or so. No spoilers, yeah. Richard.
No spoilers. I've got no spoilers to give, so we're lucky here. Let's take a look and see who we got out on the grid here tonight, Zippy.
You just made a very good point. I had a feeling I was forgetting. So, oh, bugger it. There we go. There we go. My screen is having a little bit of a hissy fit. There we go. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And boom. There we go. In first place, we have Ryan Otis in that Chevrolet Corvette, the number 16 car. Rob Campbell alongside him with Mark Miller in third. Neil McDougall in fourth. Tony J. Phillips takes up row number 3 with Steven Martinez. And Philip Adams is there in seventh with Brian Zing alongside.
In 9th, we've got Eric Kulaga, followed in 10th by Vincent Wood. 11th, we've got Roman Bykoff, followed by Troy Banks in 12th. Morgan Smith is sitting in pole position. He's sitting in position 13th, followed by Marshall Scare. Aaron Sunday's in 15th, followed by Fozzie Fazillo in 16th. Really? And rounding us out, we've got Michael Bond, who didn't set a qualifying time. We'll see if he makes the starting line.
Well, definitely a smaller grid here today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's okay. We were just talking about this just a little bit before the stream. It's summer, and a lot of these guys are out in Texas, and a lot of these guys drive real cars. It's telling me right now, actually, a few people are in the pit. I'm hoping that I haven't messed up my timing at some point, but I'm pretty sure at this point we're going to be okay. Again, really looking forward to that update. It's going to be... It's going to be very noticeable. I'm looking forward to it, and I got a feeling it's going to make the show a lot smoother. But as you can see there, these guys are gridding up, and they're currently on the way around to do their what's the word I'm looking for? Pace lap. There we go.
Yeah, pace lap, and just to let you know, it's approximately 2:50 and on a Saturday afternoon here in Catalunya. 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temperature is 112. A little breezy, it's humid, but we're not expecting any rain at this stage, and not unlike last week.
I gotta be honest, I did really enjoy the rain, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely adds a dynamic, but I gotta say, what a beautiful field of cars, and quite a few paint jobs. But one thing we didn't discuss yet there, Richard, is who's gonna be, like, your pick. Who do you think is gonna be the winner today?
Well, my money's on Rob Campbell tonight. Neil dominated last week, but Rob's starting on the front row, and that's always a good place to be here. Looks like they're doing a short pace lap here, Zippy, so they're going to get going any minute now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be good. Ryan Otis holding that pole. He's the car on the left with Rob McDougall. My apologies, Rob Campbell on the right. And there's a little bit of movement back from the Corvette. There's green. They are off. Ryan Otis in the number 16 Chevrolet Corvette. Absolutely hammering it down to start finish. Managing to hold on to that position for now. Rob Campbell looking to defend from McDougall right behind him as Mark Miller tries to make a move up the inside.
Yeah, it looks like we've had a pretty good start here. Looks like everybody's getting through the first couple of corners clean. That's nice to see.
Well, as I look now, it looks like Brian Zinn has already moved up one position. Vincent Woods up two. And actually, Troy Banks is up 3 positions. Looks like Philip Adams, he fell through the order. And Aaron Sunday may have crashed. We're going to have a look at that in just a very short moment. But a clean field so far on board with Ryan Otis. And it looks like the chopper pilot is in the payroll today, ladies and gentlemen. The TV cams very much heavily biased on an aerial view.
Yeah, you can see Brian using all of the track. As I said earlier, you've got to get on that AstroTurf way out over the curbs. It's not an infraction. You're not going to get any points or penalty points against you. You see Rob Campbell using all the curb there as well, getting a little up high, up on 2 wheels, it looked like.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing good so far. Actually, let's take a quick view behind him. There you go. You can see Rob Campbell right in his rear view mirror. He's about 6/10 of a second back, so he's not super close at this point. But I say that, if I have a look, I say that, Marshall Scare, he's just got passed by Philip Adams. Philip Adams trying to make a recovery there, and we caught it at just the wrong time, ladies and gentlemen, but I will try and get you a replay of that in just a few short moments.
Yeah, Philip Adams, looks like he lost a few positions on the first couple of corners there. It's a really tight chicane, and things can happen, and he's working his way back now.
I'm hearing there may have been a crash involving Michael Bond and Eric Luger. Let's take a very quick look at that and see exactly what happened. Richard, take it away. Oh!
Well, it looks like... well, you guys saw it. We got in a little late to see exactly what happened, but it looks like Michael Bond got into the back of Eric there.
There we go. Here's another shot of that for you, Richard.
Okay, so they're trying to go too wide through the corner, a little bumping. Everything looks okay here, but coming into the sharp right-hander, and yeah.
I definitely don't think that was intentional or malicious in any way, but I got to say, what an out there paint there from Michael Bond in the 1-2-3 car, and it looks like he has retired from the race, so short innings for him. Let's take a quick peek at Philip Adams. He's trying to make his way back through the field and is on the back end of Roman Bykoff. That Mustang, we've seen it many times here on Pit Road Productions, and it's currently under pressure. It looks like Adams is trying to send it up the inside, not quite getting the real estate. We have a look behind him. I'm on the wrong car, bugger it. Let's try that again. Roman Bykoff, there we go. That's the view that he has right now. Philip Adams right behind his brother Adrian Adams, not here to give him any assistance today. If he wants to move up through these positions, he's going to have to do it all on his own.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity here. I think Philip is just trying to set himself up, get nice and close to Roman. We're coming up towards the end of the track, and then you've got that long straightaway. I think if there's any move to be made, that's the place. Entering turn one, it's a tight, and it's just a matter of who's got the most guts and brake the latest.
Well, as you can see here, this is a view from the right rear wheel of Roman Bykov. You can see Adams getting even closer and closer still. And left rear wheel, it's very similar as well, as Ryan Otis sets the fastest lap with a 142.955. But is Adams going to go for it? He's certainly in a position. He's got the draft and he's got plenty of straight. Is he going to make a move on the inside? He's gearing up and he's sent it down into turn one. He's by. Ladies and gentlemen, Philip Adams gets by the 013 car of Roman Bykov.
Yeah, it was a great pass on the part of Philip. He did exactly what he needed to do. Got a great exit coming out of the last corner. Used the draft. Made a nice move. Perfect pass. Well,
I don't think Bykov is yet done with that. You can see there he's keeping the number 35 car of Philip Adams very honest at this point. The closest battle happening on track as it stands, but there is action happening further up the field. We're going to check in with that very quickly. Let's see how Tony J. Phillips, let's see how he's doing. He's trying to hunt down Neil McDougall. That's quite the accomplishment if you want to try and take a piece of one of the championship leaders at this point. It's fair to say he is going to have his work cut out.
Yeah, we got Porsche on Porsche, it looks like, and Tony's a longtime member of Apex. That's a good racer. He's going to apply pressure as much as he can. He's also a clean racer, so let's see what he can do here. We're coming into the last 3 or 4 corners of this lap, and the smart money is do exactly what Philip Adams did last lap, and let's see if he can set him up and get close enough to make that move.
Well, it looked like we saw Mark Miller go a little bit wide there, as right now we have 4 Porsches in a row, but there's the Chevrolet who's out in front of Ryan Otis. He's trying to pull away as much as he can. That gap right now, about 1.8 seconds. It's varying a little bit depending on which part of the track he's in, but Chevrolet, Porsche, and Porsche. It's fair to say that the German car is doing very well here at Barcelona.
You know, my first couple times I tried racing that car, I just couldn't do it. It just was too much car for me, but I grew to like it and raced the whole season in Apex this, using the Porsche GT3 car. I'm a big fan.
Well, it looks like Troy Banks is making some moves, or had some moves made on him. It looks like Brian's in and some action going there. So Philip Adams, actually Vincent Wood passed Brian's in, and then Philip Adams passed Troy Banks. So a little bit of movement there. We're going to give it just a moment. Actually, you know what? Let's take a quick peek now and see this pass made by Vincent Wood. Richard, talk us through it, sir.
Yeah, Vincent Wood running in the BMW here, and this is coming up towards the end of the circuit, getting ready to come down this front straightaway. It's the best passing opportunity there is on the track. Looks like he just got a tremendous exit. I don't know whether there was a slowdown there or not that allowed him to get by so quickly. Perhaps that was the issue.
It definitely looked like a slowdown. He was way off the line there. Let's take a look at this pass by Philip Adams onto Troy Banks. I've not seen any passes that I've missed in the meantime, so let's take a peek. So Troy Banks is ahead right now. Philip Adams is in the hunt, and you can see there, that's the car we just saw get past just a moment ago, and that's almost checking up Troy Banks at that position. And you can see there, Adams doing everything he can, just goes and hooks it on the inside, says, "Thank you very much, Mr. Troy Banks. I'll take that right away."
Yeah, Troy didn't really have... it wasn't really Troy's fault. He just got caught in a bad position at a bad time, and Philip took advantage of it.
Well, as we have a look at this Porsche, and Chevrolet Corvette battle, that's Brian Zinn at the back of that battle. No, it's not. My apologies. It's Steven Martinez, ladies and gentlemen, as Rob Campbell, the former broadcaster, he's just gone and took the fastest lap away from Ryan Otis with a 142.784.
There we go. I told you, you got to keep an eye out on Rob. He's 1.8 seconds behind Ryan right now, but he's putting in the fast laps. We're following Steven here in the Porsche pack, and it looks like we've got basically a train going on, which makes it really hard to take advantage of the draft. Nobody's close enough to make a move, and it's just a matter of taking opportunities when they arise from people's mistakes.
Well, right now, Mark Miller is definitely going to want the guys behind him to keep fighting. You can see in the distance, it's Neil McDougall, Tony J. Phillips, and Steven Martinez, and in that order. And I got to say, what a fantastic camera it is out of the back of that Porsche. It's fair to say a lot of the cars would have melted the thing clean off, maybe even barbecued it at some point. Definitely not my favorite flavor, but, you know, it's definitely holding on there well, and he is trying to pull away just a little bit, but not a lot. Tony Phillips there, he's applying plenty of pressure to McDougall, and in effect, that is almost forcing McDougall to have to defend more than be able to attack Mark Miller.
Yeah, Mark's sitting in a nice spot right now. He's far enough ahead that, yeah, the draft is coming into effect, but with those cars behind him having a little battle of their own, they just don't have enough to fight Mark, and it's giving a little bit of a comfort level. Let's hope he can take advantage of that situation.
Well, as we have a look a little bit further back, we got Brian Zinn, and actually this little battle is starting to emerge. You got Vincent Wood at the front of that. He's got right behind him, he's got Brian Zinn in that Chevrolet Corvette, but behind Brian Zinn, it's a name you're familiar with, ladies and gentlemen. It's Phillip Adams, and he is going to be very keen in that green and black Corvette to try and make the recovery after that incident earlier on. Can Vincent Wood hold them off? Now, the BMW hasn't been that popular here in Apex this season. The Corvette and the Porsche's really been the cars of choice, but I've got to say, definitely a smaller field today, but plenty of racing action here at Catalunya.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, we've got this group of 4 cars, and they're separated by just over a second, so nice close battling. It looks like they've all got similar downforce setups because nobody seems to be able to make a move on anybody going down the straightaway at this stage.
Well, it is definitely one thing to be able to drive the car, but the setup is another key, crucial factor and can have an absolutely huge impact on your race. Some guys, they go and trim it right out, going for all the straight line speed, but then in the corners, fine, they're a sitting duck. But right now, it appears that Vincent Wood is doing very well to hold off the 2 Corvettes behind him, the 82 of Brian Zinn and the 35 of Phillip Adams, as these guys start to accordion closer and closer together. As we see there, that's he's going for the move. Vincent Wood being taken by Brian Zinn, and Phillip Adams is right up behind him. And yes, it was buy one, get one free. The Corvette's absolutely slamming it past the BMW, and it looks like Troy Banks looking to capitalize on that as well.
Yeah, Vincent Wood got the back end a little loose, had some oversteer exiting in that one corner, and everybody just kind of flew by him, and Troy's taking advantage too. Let's see if Vincent can gather back up and get the wheels underneath him again.
Well, obviously, being somebody who, a little bit of a twitch there. Maybe the car's having a little bit too much heat in the tires. Maybe that's what's slowing him down. We know the BMW definitely not the popular choice here, but let's take a quick look because it looks like Phillip Adams. Oh my gosh, he's almost touching the back of Brian Zinn's Corvette.
Yeah, I guess he must have been a little too late to try and make a late move down to the inside, and content to just hang out there for now and maybe make his attempt later on this lap.
Well, it looks like Phillip Adams is going for it now. He's definitely making a move. He's up on the inside, almost neck and neck now. Is Brian Zinn going to be able to hold him off? He's certainly making that Corvette as wide as possible, but Phillip Adams, he's there on the inside. Zinn not giving him too much room, trying to keep him offline, but not able to get it done. Phillip Adams takes the position of 7th away from Brian Zinn.
Oh, that was a great move by Phillip. Another example of his great racecraft. A nice move. I didn't think he'd be able to do that on the infield here, but made it look somewhat easy, much easier than I could have. Brian Zinn's a very good driver, so kudos.
Well, definitely a good battle, and it's one of the many we have going on the track right now. This is the battle for 4th position. It's between Tony J. Phillips in the 31 Porsche. As you see there, that's a little bit of a wiggle from Mr. McDougall. Did I get the same consequences you did there, Mr. Swiddles?
Yeah, well, it's... back ends are coming around a little bit, and things are starting to get interesting. Might be the track getting a little hot, the tires getting a little hot. Who knows what's going on out there?
Well, it is definitely very, very high pressure. It's actually, Mark Miller looked like he was very far off the track just then. And, back up. Where's the button? I've lost it. Hey, that's what I was aiming for, ladies and gentlemen. That one. All right, so it looked like Mark Miller took a slightly scenic route, but we see there Tony Phillips is trying to make a move heading into turn 1. Now, I believe that's actually called Elf as they head down into Renault, and then the long right-hander of turn 3.
Yeah, turn 3 is a big sweeping right-hander. You want to use all the track. You want to get right out to the left side, as you can watch these guys coming around, going all the way out to the left curb before you have to start.
I gotta admit, I love that camera shot just then.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I mean, you know, pat yourself on the back, Zippy. You deserve it.
I'd like to take the credit for that, but no, that's all the iRacing cameras, ladies and gentlemen. And that is another thing, actually. I'm seeing Roman Bykov just past Troy Banks. Let's take a quick look at that and see what's going on there.
Yeah, I think we may have had an incident here, to be honest, Zippy.
Okay, yeah, something happened to Troy Banks there, because I see we're on Marshall Scare right now. What's happening to Troy Banks?
I believe Troy Banks and Vincent Wood got involved in an incident, if we can go back and look at that.
Yeah, I see Vincent Wood has had a thing as well. Oh, there we go. All right, so this is the incident. Actually, take it away there, Richard.
Yeah, so no pressure. We've got Troy leading Vincent. Vincent's coming up. We got the sweeping right-hander. Vincent making a dive up the inside, and he just catches Troy, spins himself, and Troy's sitting sideways in the track there. Looks like Troy might be okay in terms of damage, though.
I'm not too sure about Vincent Wood, though. I'm going to wonder if he got smoked. I did see that he had a pit. Looks like he chose to tow on that point. Okay, all right, so that's what happened to Vincent Wood, and I believe he may have retired from the session. That's a little bit of a shame. Let's get back with Tony Phillips now. He's still absolutely hot on the gearbox, and I think he's going to go for it. He's finally challenging McDougall, trying to go around the outside of turn 1. That's Elf Corner. A little bit of contact there as they head through turn 2, Renault. McDougall still on the inside, and it looks like Martinez is at the back looking to capitalize on that if both of these guys take each other out.
Yeah, that was that's the best pace to pass, and it's also the most dangerous because those two lanes almost merge into one if you're trying to follow the racing line. A little bit of bumping, but overall pretty clean racing, and Steve Martinez has got himself right back in this game here.
Well, it's like trying to be at the drive-through where those two lanes go into one, especially in Canada. They are the most polite drivers in the world. At a stop sign, they'll encourage you to go forward. But come to a drive-through, ladies and gentlemen, you better get your shotgun out because that's the kind of attitude these guys have when it comes to getting their Timmies.
Well, using all the curb here and losing the position, it looks like the bounce off the curb kind of cost a little bit of space and just couldn't hold that line. Tony Phillips is still holding out front there, and McDougall's trying to get that position back he just lost.
He's definitely trying, but now he's the one under even more pressure because he's in the middle of this sandwich now. He's got Steven Martinez right behind him, and you can see there, this is a view of the left rear wheel of his car. Let me flick around. There we go. Right rear. There we go. And you can see he's already starting to pull away 0.7 of a second on McDougall. That is one of your championship leaders, ladies and gentlemen. And Tony Phillips just showing him how it's done at this point.
Yeah, Tony Phillips is on fire tonight. He's having himself a good race. He qualified well. Good for Tony.
Well, definitely good for Tony. You can see there McDougall and Martinez are going at it as well. But let's take a quick peek at what's happening with Troy Banks. He's obviously going to have to do quite the recovery. And it looks like he's chasing Eric Kaluga. And I'm trying to remember, I'm sure Eric had a brother, and I know I've definitely bumped into him. But the Kaluga brothers are regulars here at Apex this.
Yeah, when I joined Apex this, they were both racing, and they stopped racing shortly thereafter. But it's nice to see Eric back at least.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Swindoll takes to the track, and people stop showing up. You had the answer here first.
What can I say?
Not a lot. You shotgunned yourself on that one, buddy. We're back on board with Tony Phillips in that 31 911 GT3R. Definitely a little bit of a controversial car. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It really is the Marmite of the grid at this point, but he's not been able to pull away over a second at this point. Getting that gap up to about 7 or 8 tenths of a second, but not able to expand it any further. Looking through the field as well. The battle for 11th still going. Kaluga versus Banks, but we're going to stay with this one just for the minute as I'm wondering if Martinez, he is aware of the new problem behind him. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Phillip Adams.
Phillip Adams is flying tonight. He wants to move up. He didn't qualify he qualified decent, but that early incident in the first couple of turns, he lost a few positions. He's fighting hard to get back where he wants to be.
Well, the good thing is he started in 7th and he's currently in 7th, so he's currently broke even, as it were. The hard charger right now actually is Mr. Marshall Scare in that BMW, but he's under pressure now. Actually, we've got a freeway fight going on. Marshall Scare being hunted down by Eric Kaluga. As I see here, something's happened to Martinez. I believe he's just pit. We're right, he's pit.
Yeah, it's probably just a scheduled pit stop. We're on a lap 11 here, and the pit window's definitely open at this stage.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on that just to double check. I'm hoping it was intentional. Let's have a look. Yep, that is a very intentional dive into the pits. Quite a fast pit entry as well. So we're going to see how he does. Troy Banks and a couple of the other guys making a pass on him. So Steven Martinez being the first of our drivers for that scheduled pit stop.
Yeah, I would expect to see Troy, who we were just talking about. I'd expect to see Troy to be one of our last. He's generally speaking the last possible lap. Sometimes an extra lap longer than everybody else.
Well, here right now, we've got BMW versus Chevrolet, and Chevrolet again behind him, and Marshall Scare, he's currently the hard charger in the field, up 5 positions, so started 14th, currently running there in 9th in the number 5 BMW M4 GT3, but he is under a lot of pressure. Eric Luger right behind him with Troy Banks breathing fire down his neck. He's definitely going to want to hold on, but can Troy Banks get a buy one, get one free, as we saw with the Corvettes earlier against the BMW?
Yeah, it's nice to see. We're sitting here in positions 9, 10, and 11. Oh, we got 15 cars out on the track, or 14 cars still out on the track, and it doesn't matter where you're on this, where you're positioned right now. You've got a good chance at a battle, and it's nice to see these guys racing hard as we're making a move coming up the inside, and Marshall Scare's trying to hold it on the outside, and it looks like he's just giving up that position.
Eric Luger able to just sneak in, and that was incredibly close there between the BMW. And it looks like, here you go, it's happened again, ladies and gentlemen. You buy one, you get one free. Corvette versus BMW. It seems to be a train is getting run on these M4s today. Marshall Scare no longer, well, he's still a hard charger, but that title being taken away from him now by Roman Bykov in the only Mustang today in the field.
Yeah, once you have to go offline and you get off the racing line through those corners, you lose all momentum, and that just led Troy Banks to gain that position, and unfortunately for Marshall.
No, definitely not what they had in mind, and definitely the BMW's having a bit of a struggle there. But one person we haven't really caught up with yet today is Morgan Smith. Now, I believe he's driving that Lamborghini. I've got to try and find him. I felt sure I'd seen him earlier, but I say that, no, he's not in there. Oh, yes, he is. There he is. Morgan Smith, ladies and gentlemen, for WBM Racing. Not somebody we've caught up with too much today. WBM actually very weakly represented today. As you see, dipping a wheel in the sand. Maybe he's just showboating for the cameras, ladies and gentlemen, but definitely not the race he was looking forward to today.
No, he was hoping for a little better results here. Maybe he's not familiar with the track. He's also the only Lambo we've got out here tonight, and that's sad. It used to be one of the more popular cars in the GT3.
Well, definitely. I personally, out of the field, the Lambo, actually, me and you test drove. Well, we didn't test drive it. We actually did drive the Lambo, and I think that was Watkins Glen 6 hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We decided it was much better handling than the Mustang, so we had to do something.
Well, I say that now. We'll tell you a little bit later about how that race went, and I'll give you a clue. It wasn't good. There's a reason we're in the commentary booth, ladies and gentlemen. But at the minute, Eric Luger, he's got Troy Banks. The battle for position 9 is ongoing. But as I'm having a look, I'm not seeing anybody really pit. And I say that, Roman Bykov, I think he's just gone in the pits now. Let me double check that in just a second here. Oh! Oh, dear. All right. Something gone wrong. Let's find out what happened to Roman.
It looks like he's missing a wing. That's a nice driving style going down pit road.
I don't actually have a crash warning for that, so let's take a peek here and see if we can find out what happened. Okay, I appreciate we're on board with Eric Luger right now. Okay, so we can see Bykov ahead. Oh, bugger. Okay, that didn't quite work. Let's try this again. I want to find out exactly what Roman Bykov had happened, because that was quite the incident there.
Fortunately for Roman, in Apex this, I believe there is one faster pair, and you have a mandatory pit stop, so
here we go.
That allowed him to come in and not necessarily cause much of a loss in time.
Well, let's see what happened to him here. Oh, no. On the pit entry, Roman. That's why we didn't get a crash warning. And I've got to say, for sheer style, I mean, that's pretty up there. He is full on grabbing it into that pit box.
You call that crabbing, I call that drifting. That's a nice piece of driving. And realistically, that did not cost him much in terms of time. I mean, you get a free fast repair. He was coming into the pits anyways. If you're going to crash, that's a spot to do it.
Well, definitely not quite how he wanted to use that fast repair, but Roman Bykov, I don't really know how to describe that. That was incredible.
Roman's always entertaining. Thanks, Roman, for the entertainment.
Well, he's the first guy I've ever seen be able to do such damage on a pit entrance, ladies and gentlemen. But let's have a look at some battles going on through the field. So we've still got the Porsche versus Porsche going on. About 0.8 of a second between Tony Phillips and Neil McDougall. As we look a little bit further back, Philip Adams, he's currently in 6th position, and he has been hunting these guys down as it stands right now. His last lap, a 1:43.6. McDougall with a 43.9, and then Phillips with a 1:44 flat. So it's fair to say he is catching up.
Yeah, he's catching up. It's just he's trying to make his move. He's trying to get closer. He's still got a pit, and that's coming up soon. So he might be trying to make a jump in the pit lane.
Well, one thing I have been noticing more and more in recent shows, ladies and gentlemen, is that the undercut seems to have quite a lot of presence, especially seeing that in the Spec Fords earlier on. And I do wonder if it has an advantage in the GT3. We'll find that out from Steven Martinez. He was one of the first guys to pit here at Apex this.
Yeah, my experience shows the undercut doesn't really work in this length of a race. They're not taking tires, so there's nothing to be gained. You're going to be adding the weight earlier. Most guys tend to pit later, but it does have an advantage only when you're stuck in traffic and you can't get by the car ahead of you. That's when it's useful in a race of this length. We've got Roman Bykov here. He's trying to fight back after his pit stop. He's coming up on Marshall Scare. They're going through the little S-bends before they go into the right 90-degree turn. And use all the track here. Roman's on a hunt now. He's probably a little upset with himself, and he's looking to make up that place that he had earlier.
Well, as you can see there, the view out the back of that BMW, but this isn't something we've seen before. Roman Bykov rocking the only Mustang on the field and doing what the Mustang does and basically trying to kill any innocent spectators as it stands. But the closest battle on track right now, down to 0.4 of a second. Actually, as I say that, there's multiple going on. The battle for 8th, the battle for 4th, and currently, as we're watching right now, the battle for 11th place.
Yeah, you can see the back end coming a little loose. He's getting some oversteer, Roman was, and that makes it tough because this is the good passing opportunity. He wanted to be up nice and tight in order to take much advantage of that draft. Right now he's sitting a little too far back to try and make move going into turn 1, but he's just going to have to hang tight now and wait for Marshall to make a mistake and try and advance a little later on this lap. We've got, it looks like Troy Banks is all over the back of Eric Ulaga now. Troy trying to come back after that earlier incident with, I believe it might have been, I forget who it was now. Was it Vincent Wood?
I think it was.
So, you know, Troy's driving hard. He's trying to get those positions back he had earlier. He's always going to be pushing hard and try and make that pass before we get into hit the pit stop sequence for him.
Well, you've got to wonder as well. So if I look at the best lap for these two guys, Troy Banks does have the advantage by about 0.4 of a second, but you got to think about the fuel as well. You got to think about the long game, and certainly as well the benefits of having a draft. You know, is it worth staying behind the rear wing of Eric Ulaga, save some fuel, or is it one of them things where, you know what, this guy's holding me up as I see there's something happening. What's going on over here? It looks like things are getting... Oh, guys. Oh, there we go. So we're going to come out. Rob Campbell is coming out right at the back of that battle between Eric Ulaga and Troy Banks. This could get very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, it's a matter of seeing if Rob's got the patience or he wants to push through here now, because the two guys ahead of him are going to be pitting either this upcoming lap or the lap after at the latest, I would think. So Rob doesn't want to lose any time by pitting earlier than them, and he's, you know, he doesn't want to lose any more time to Ryan Otis him first, and we'll see how this all transpires.
Yeah, it definitely is. Risk versus reward, and Rob Campbell is going to be hoping that these guys go in the pits very, very soon. He definitely needs them to be cleared and out the way, but he is not really my highlight right now. Let's take a look. Roman Bykov trying to have another crack at Marshall Scare. Neither of these guys... Actually, Roman Bykov has pit. I don't know if it was... Yeah, he deliberately pit when he did. My apologies there, but I got to say, I think Marshall Scare having my favorite paint job this evening. those gold wheels really rocking my world.
You know, I can't believe you forgot that Roman had already
Yeah, I remember why.
Used the pit lane as a drift track. It was spectacular. But he's all over the back of Marshall and really trying to make a move. He's putting the pressure on, and it's just a matter of when.
Well, he's definitely applying as much pressure as he can. And remember, if you can't get the pass done, definitely applying pressure and trying to force an error out of your competitor is one way of doing it. Now, Marshall Scare, his I rating is 1538. Roman Bykov, 2314. So in theory, he should be able to slam dunk this. But ladies and gentlemen, I rating when it comes to a league does not necessarily a golden number to go by, but all he can hope for at this point is that Marshall Scare comes in the pits. But it's fair to say that's not going to happen, as that pit stop has already been done and out of the way.
Yeah, it looks like I think everybody pretty much now has done their pit stop. We've only got 2 guys left, and I believe they are on pit lane right now. Troy Banks is in the pits now, so we're coming to the end of the pit sequence.
Oh, and it looks like Banks has been able to snake Kaluga out of the pits. The question is he going to have enough fuel? We do know Troy Banks is definitely a little bit gentle on the fuel filler trigger, and Kaluga is going to be absolutely hot on the tail of that number 8 Corvette.
Yeah, Eric's looking to make that position back, but Troy, great move. If you can't beat him on the track, it's a lot easier to beat him in the pits, and I'd expect him to have enough fuel.
Well, as we say that now, it looks like Tony Phillips is going to be under pressure. McDougall behind, Mark Miller behind, Philip Adams and Brian Zinn. All of these guys very, very close together. I'm going to switch to a different camera, give you the view that I'm... There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Almost all of them in screen. You can see Philip Adams just popping in and out at the top left of the screen. And it goes Porsche, 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 Chevrolet Corvette, Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, the Porsches are holding off the Corvettes here, although we've got a Corvette up front, and we're looking from the back of Tony Phillips' car right now, and Neil McDougall's applying pressure, but he's got to get himself closer as they enter into turn 1, or the last turn, going down the straightaway. And if he doesn't get close enough, you're just not going to be able to make that draft, and then you have to worry about the guy behind you.
Well, he's definitely under pressure. He's trying to pull away as much as he can. His last lap was a lap that he pit. You can see there, he did a 2:10.9. Definitely isn't doing that when he's on full race pace. But right now, the draft is being a crucial effect. Neil McDougall reeling him in very gradually, very slowly. But not only that, if you look behind McDougall, it's Mark Miller. He's one of your championship leaders, and he's going to be keen to try and get the leg up on McDougall in that number 1 Porsche 911 GT3R.
Yeah, these guys are battling hard, and they're just spaced far enough apart where the draft, it's helping everybody, and so nobody's gaining a real advantage. Mark Miller's just holding off enough space, or sorry, Tony is, to keep the guys at bay.
We can see there Mark Miller getting closer and closer to the back of Neil McDougall. Porsche versus Porsche, and Philip Adams not far behind. If you look in your rearview mirror, he has definitely got a little bit closer, applying pressure. 8 tenths of a second in it as we're looking ahead again. It is Mark Miller trying to apply even more pressure to McDougall. McDougall stuck in between the 2 911s. He has to attack. He has to defend. What choices do he have at this point? He's just got to hold on for everything he's got. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's really a matter right now of who makes a mistake, and so far nobody's making a mistake, and they're just running nose to tail. What do we got here, Zippy?
Oh, I hear a warning for Marshall Scare. It is a mistake indeed. Let's find out what happened here. You can see Roman Bykov in the Mustang behind him, and that BMW, that looks like it's got a little bit loose, and round, baby, round, she is gone.
Oh, that's rather unfortunate for Marshall. He's been doing a good job ever since the pits, holding off Roman for a number of laps there, but all for naught.
Well, we're back on board with Troy Banks, and he's still got Eric Luger right behind him, that 66 Corvette. That's just one of the battles going on. We're going to leave it to for now, because Mark Miller looks like he's getting even closer. Is he going to make a move going into turn 1? He's there. He's thinking about it. Is he going to put a nose in? Not yet. Oh, the suspense, ladies and gentlemen. I'm all excited.
Well, it's nice to see you so exciting, Zippy, and I'm glad you're on the East Coast and I'm sitting here Central. So I'd much rather be excited over there.
Well, you can see the finest Scotsman in the Apex this racing league representing his country with pride right now. Currently sat up in 4th position with Mark Miller, very keen to get that. Philip Adams right behind in that green and black Corvette. Looking forward to try and catch up a little bit closer. Not been able to close the gap. Still about 7 or 8 tenths of a second, as it looks like Kaluga has just got past Troy Banks.
Yeah, Kaluga's got past Troy. Let's take a look at that. Looks like coming down the end of the straightaway. Oh, and Troy just went a little wide, had to brake hard, and that just lost all momentum. Eric coming up the inside. But Troy holds him off here. I'm surprised. A nice move by Troy. But once again, he's offline. He's losing momentum. And Eric looks like he's going to take advantage right here.
Definitely a very clean pass there. These guys certainly not letting it go down easy. Absolutely fighting. And Kalega still able to hold on to that. You see a little bit of a wiggle there from Troy Banks in the background, but he's still going, and Kalega has been able to maintain that position. Let's get back to live. As you see there, still very, very close. 3 tenths of a second in it. The closest battle on track right now, and it is the 9th position, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 9th position, and a nice respectful driving by both gentlemen there. It's nice to see, you know, close, hard racing, but giving each other room, not forcing anybody off the track. Good, clean fun.
Well, it looks like Kaluga has been able to open up that gap, albeit very, very slightly, 5 tenths of a second, but it does fall going down the start-finish lane. That draft easily worth 2 tenths of a second as they're going down there, heading down. I believe that's into turn 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, that looks like turn 1. Heading into turn 2. That's Renault, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ask me why they named it that. I do not know. And then the long, sweeping right-hander of turn 3, very similar to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Before you head down the dip, heading down over to Repsol. That's turn 4. Very, very long sweeping right-hander yet again. And I gotta say, quite a wide track. Kind of hard to get your idea about where you are in terms of, you know, side-to-side action, I guess.
Yeah, I found on this track there's not so many... there's not so much in the way of indicators of where you should be braking and where you should be turning in. You kind of... It's almost muscle memory, I found for myself. Just knowing and feeling where the place to be is.
We've got a little replay here for Rob Campbell. I had an alert pop up, and hopefully it is not a bigger deal as it appears to be. He is still currently in second, and that looks like maybe a little bit of over-rotation there. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, and a little bit of a facepalm to the front of that Porsche 911.
Oh, that's rather unfortunate for Rob. Fortunately for him, he did have a significant lead on 3rd place, but that's closed up dramatically now, and it looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the front end of that car.
I got to admit as well, you see how the headlights have little pink bits in them. I wonder if that's something that you can adjust in the paint. And I got to say, actually, looking at his paint, I like how it says Sky Lounge, but the first time he's got it wrong, crossed it out. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Great marketing there from the 93 car.
Yeah, I happen to know the guys who are involved in the painting and the lunatic racing, and I think that was a little bit of pushback after wanting some more changes.
Well, it's definitely brought a little bit of humor to my sense, but as we can see here, Tony Phillips is closing down on him. He's right behind, as is the 2 Porsches of Neil McDougall and Mark Miller. That gap to Philip Adams opened up to about a second. Actually, speaking of which, we haven't dragged anybody in for an interview. Let's get hold of Philip Adams and get a little bit of a quick chat with him. Philip, we're currently on board with you right now. I imagine you've got a front row seat of the Porsches ahead of you, but you appear to be dropping back, sir. What's going on?
Oh, I just lost a bunch of front end grip. The tires on the front are just not holding up, and I'm trying to keep up, but I'm not doing a very good job of it at the moment.
Well, it's fair to say you had that incident earlier on, and you've been doing an absolutely fantastic recovery drive. Actually, that gap holding now about 1.1, 1.2 seconds. These guys getting closer and closer. I think if you can just hold on, if these guys start to fight a bit more, you may be back in the running at catching up. But we're going to leave you to it for now, and thank you very much for popping in.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Philip Adams, but we're going to go have a quick look at Eric Kaluga and Troy Banks. These guys are hard at it again, 4 tenths of a second in it.
Yeah, we're still, like I said, we're battling for 9th. We've got 9th and 10th here, and good hard racing all the way through the field. It's nice to see. Great job. Corvette against Corvette. Troy's a little too far back, I think, to make any moves down this straight. He's going to close a couple of tenths, but at the end of the straightaway, you've got to be a little closer than that to make a move.
Definitely not quite close enough, but we have Brian Zinn as well. I understand. Richard, were you able to catch up with Brian Zinn?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Brian, how are you doing? It looks like you're having a decent race out here tonight. You're sitting in 7th. You got anything left here for Philip?
Probably not. I'm glad it looks better on the outside than it has been. It's been a struggle bus for me tonight.
Well, you're in a train of 5 or 6 cars. If they start battling up front, might give you yourself an opportunity.
Yeah, I've had a couple very unfortunate slowdowns. That's kind of put me where I'm at, but I'm hoping those guys get racy somehow in front of me and I can snag 1 or 2 spots here at the end.
Well, yeah, you're in a good position, so let's hope for that for your sake, and we're looking forward to it. We'll let you go, and good luck the rest of this race.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brian Zinn. He's definitely hoping for a little bit of conflict there, but right now the closest battle, it's 1 or 2. It's Eric Kaluga versus Troy Banks. These guys really beating to the sound of their own beat and absolutely sending it. Corvette versus Corvette, the number 66 versus the number 8. Now, I do wonder if Troy Banks took enough fuel. If I have a look at the pit lane times, Troy Banks actually the shortest guy in the lane with just 28.3 seconds.
Yeah, Troy's been... he's been around a long time, so I'd expect him to have enough fuel. He's pretty good at being miserly when it comes to fuel consumption.
That's something I've never been able to be very successful at. It's always been one speed and it's go, and often go straight into the wall, but I do hope he has enough. I actually commentated a race earlier where the guy ran out of fuel on the line. It was absolutely fantastic. I do wonder if we're going to get that kind of action here today at Apex this, the Barcelona Grand Prix track.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be an interesting finish. Any chance we can go up to the Porsches and see what's going on up there, Zippy?
Yes, sir, we can. And we see here Rob Campbell is up at the front, and it's fair to say Tony Phillips has caught up. That damage starting to have an effect. If I have a look at the lap times, Rob Campbell posted a 144.4. Behind him, Phillips with a 44.1. Neil McDougall with a 43.9. And Mark Miller with a 43.9. So right now, Campbell is the cork in that bottle. As you see, taking a little bit of extra curb there.
Yeah, you're using all the track, trying to make sure he maintains his position. We're coming down to, we're less than 2 to go, I believe. So it's now or never if Tony wants to make a move on Rob, and Rob doesn't want that to happen.
Well, as you can see on the left side of the screen, something I've never actually put up on this broadcast before, as we get the white flag lap. That is the last lap time of these guys. And you can see here, Tony Phillips, he's definitely, he's managed to catch up to Rob Campbell, but now almost getting held up by him. You see the other drivers there with the 143.9.
Yeah, if he's going to make a move, I think it has to be here, because this is the big drafting opportunity, but he's still pretty far back. In spite of the damage there, Rob's doing a good job holding things off and keeping going.
Well, it looks like Ryan Otis has just been all on his own. We've not really watched him, and he's already crossed the line. Actually, it looks like a lot of these guys have crossed the line. I'm wondering if I'm in replay at this point. A huge battle going on. We're going to head back. Actually, Eric Kaluga has pulled away very heavily from Troy Banks.
I'm not sure what happened to Troy, but looks like we kind of missed the one last half lap there, guys. Sorry about that, but Eric's holding off. He's got 9th. That's going to put Troy in 10th.
Morgan Smith is going to be your next car across the finish line. But actually, we're going to leave that be for right now, because Roman Bykov, he's the next nearest person with a battle going on. Marshall Scare right behind him. And actually, it looks like Ryan Otis is hanging out in the race channel. We're going to grab him in just a moment. Not literally, ladies and gentlemen. We're not that kind of party, but I will try and see if I can get the end of the Porsches. I will certainly do my best. Just give me 1 second here, gentlemen, and I'll see what I can do.
That was nice to see Roman there flashing his lights, just happy to get this thing over with after earlier problems. But overall, a pretty good race we saw here tonight.
Definitely a pretty good race, and I don't know if I'm quite going to be able to get that how I wanted it to. You know what? We're going to leave that be. Let's take a look at the results right now. Give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Where's it gone? Doink, doink. Let's take a look at the results. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this is going to be updated very, very soon. Did not get sent the new upgrade before the race in enough of time to get it sorted, but I have to do my what's the word I'm looking for? Obligated. My obligated apology. There you go. obliterate. You know what I'm trying to say, Richard. Anyway, let's actually, why don't you do the honors of taking us through the sand nets for a change?
Oh yeah, you want me to do all the talking? Sure.
Attaboy.
In first place, he kind of ran away with this one start to finish. He won by looks like about 19 seconds tonight. Was Ryan Otis in the Chevrolet Corvette. Rob Campbell, in spite of that late incident, managed to hold off the rest of the Porsches and come in second. Tony Phillips rounding out the podium. Neil McDougall finished fourth. Mark Miller was in fifth. Philip Adams advanced to sixth. Brian Zinn, seventh. Steve Martinez made it to eighth. Eric Ulaga in ninth. Troy Banks in 10th.
As we have a look at 11th, it was Morgan Smith in the WBM racing car, the only Lamborghini on the field. He came 11th with Roman Bykov in 12th. Definitely, we're going to have to get Roman in the booth at some point because he's definitely very entertaining to watch with that absolutely radical pit entrance there. A good demonstration on how not to do it, but great entertainment nonetheless. Marshall Scare having a little bit of a spin around. He was there in 13th with Aaron Sunday in 14th, Vincent Wood in 15th, Michael Bond and Fozzie Fasillo in 16th and 17th. But that concludes the results. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can get your race winner in Mr. Ryan Otis. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
Actually, it went pretty good, I guess. Got a good start, and Rob was right behind me, and he had great pace. He was pretty much right on my tail for the first few laps, and then I'm not sure what happened. I think he got a slowdown or something. I'm not sure what happened, and then he just suddenly dropped back a couple seconds. And then from there on out, I was just trying to be consistent and put in laps and try not to crash.
Well, it was a absolutely fantastic effort, sir. Absolutely fantastic effort. And I gotta say, going into the race, I mean, you had the thing absolutely slam dunked from the start. Tell us a little bit about what you did to prepare for this track.
Well, I've been driving the LMP2 here actually all week, and then yesterday I realized, this race was coming up, so I started putting in laps in the Corvette, and it just right off the bat it just felt pretty good, and the braking points and turn in were pretty close to what I had been doing all week, and so it just kind of fell right into it and went from there.
Well, Ryan, you did an absolutely fantastic job. A good points haul for you. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I guess I'll just thank my family again for letting me race on a Sunday night.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very valid point. Any of you who have significant others, kids, wife, children, dogs, don't get me wrong, it definitely helps if they approve of your hobby and your sport, and definitely a recipe for success. But ladies and gentlemen, that was your race winner, Mr. Ryan Otis.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Richard, I understand you've been able to catch up with someone as well. Who would you like, sir? Let's have a look. We've got Tony Phillips down there. No Rob Campbell, though.
Let's bring Tony Phillips in.
All right. Tony, can we get a mic check?
Who do you need a mic check for?
There you go.
Tony.
Hey.
Hey, Tony. It's Richard in the booth. Congratulations on the podium tonight.
Hey, I don't see him very often, but I'll take it when I can get it. It was a tough race. It was a good race. Good battling out there. Track was great. Porsche killed it on this track. It was a good selection for car.
Oh, that was an awesome result. I'm guessing you must have been really, really salivating when you all of a sudden closed on Rob Campbell late in the race there.
Well, I couldn't believe it. He's super fast, and of course he had a problem. I get an indication of a yellow flag, and I can only hope that maybe he picked up a little bit of damage. That's about the only chance I have to get around Rob. But I'm always glad to see Rob out on track. We don't see him every week, and he's kind of a veteran of Apex this league.
Oh, it was good to see. You had a great race. You said the Porsche was working well for you. Did you get a lot of chance to practice tonight, or was it just everything came together for you?
I did a couple of official races this week, and they turned out pretty well in the Porsche. It's just a good car all around anyhow, but particularly on this track, it just seemed to really roll through the corners really nicely. These little bit higher speed corners, so I think the Porsche just sort of shined here, and of course the result with the top, I think 3 or 4 cars were all Porsche, so good indication. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, we had the Porsches that looked like second, third, fourth, and fifth. So definitely a good car there.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's race and your podium finish?
I appreciate you guys broadcasting the race, and of course I give my shout out to Ken Kruger for putting together such a great league, and Apex This guys that show up every week, and thick and thin. It's great racing, good group of guys, and hats off to everybody on track.
Well, thanks a lot, Tony, and it's nice to see you on the podium, and it's nice to have you in the interview room.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Good night.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony Phillips, and I understand we've been able to catch up with second place as well. Rob, definitely, it was a good result overall, but what happened near the end with the over-rotation?
To be honest with you, I kind of dozed off. I was just daydreaming. I was looking up at my overlays, didn't realize where I was, and just spun. So there's not much more I can say about that than that.
Well, it definitely almost cost you the race at that point. But I gotta say, what an absolutely fantastic drive. And for those who don't know, if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the previous broadcasters as well. Actually, if I remember rightly, you do some absolutely fantastic iRacing photography as well.
Part-time casual, half-baked rookie. Yep. You got it.
Well, that is a very honest review, but Rob, definitely a good race from yourself. Obviously able to do some driving, nearly rocking 3,000 I ratings, so definitely not a slouch there. But Rob, before we let you go, how do you feel about what's coming next, the next track on the rotation?
To be honest, I don't know. I wasn't really following the season here. I think it's only the second race I've actually jumped in and did. So what do they got?
We got Imola coming up next, Rob.
Imola. You probably won't see me. Not a big fan. To be honest, I don't know. We'll see. I might jump in and try and cause some havoc in the championship standings. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, there you go.
Just interrupt your Zippy here.
Yep, go for it.
We'll let it out there. Rob and I were teammates in racing for a couple of seasons, so that's one of the reasons he was my pick. And nice to see you finish on the podium, Rob. You were my pick for the race winner, but Ryan had a little too much to hold you off today, it looked like.
Yeah, Ryan got too much on me. I didn't quite have the top speed for him, but I got to say, I've been watching the broadcast guys. You've been doing an excellent job there, Daniel, getting better every week, so keep up the good work.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, flattery will get you everywhere. Rob Campbell, my driver of the day after that sudden compliment. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to leave you to it. That was Rob Campbell. Actually, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, I'd like to thank you guys for picking up the torch of the broadcasting. So it's a fun league, so it's good to see that they got still some broadcasts going this season. So I'll thank you guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I like to shoot myself in the foot, but he has been saying he's been watching it, so I'm not going to argue with the guy. That was Rob Campbell. He was your second place finisher, but that pretty much concludes us here today at Apex This. Oh, Richard, you have a... sponsors!
No,
sponsors!
Yes, the people who pay the bills, Zippy. This is not commercial-free entertainment.
Well, let's have a look. You lead the way there, sir. Lead the way.
Well, Apex This, as everybody knows or should know, or viewers who've never raced with Apex This, it's free. Costs nothing. As long as you got iRacing, as long as you got the car you want to race and the track you want to race, they're racing that week, you can enter for free. They do take donations, and donations keep the league going. They pay for, the sessions, the awards. They give awards, and they also have sponsors, and the sponsors help chip in things like to keep this league running. So the first sponsor we've got tonight would be Apex Sim Racing for immersive sim racing gear. They carry Hue Controls, Momo, Moza Racing, Sim Magic, OBP Motorsport, OMP, Rich DPC, and Apex Sim Racing brands.
We also have Full Speed Sim Coaching, where your personal coach will make you a better sim racer. Blake's mission is for you to get a better understanding of sim racing fundamentals to take you to the next level. Using visual guidance and telemetry analysis, he caters to novice and intermediate racers using iRacing and Assetto Corsa.
We also have Get Good Racing. With one-on-one coaching or a self-directed course, Get Good Racing has what you need to improve your iRacing skills. Marion, he's a 5K iRating driver. He's one of the top 1% of the racing drivers. In the end, his goal is to make you understand how you can self-coach yourself in the long run, giving you all the tools and making sure you can use them.
We also have Race Smarter with DRE. That is the Digital Race Engineer. He's a premium spotter and crew chief with many additional benefits. Built exclusively for iRacing, the best iRacing spotter. Perfect for your VR users, monitors your racing, context, and alerts you. It's the crew chief iRacing needs. Use your voice or buttons to control over 400 commands. Get vital feedback from over 50 voice alerts. Nothing to look at and be distracted by. Audio-only communication. Well, I've got to say, as we flip over to the cameras here, let me make sure I've got the right button. There we go. It was an absolutely fantastic race. And I've got to say as well, Nayati Sunday, thank you for joining in on the voice chat as well. Thank you for joining us for this stream. And as he was saying, congrats to the podium. I'm assuming my apologies. I can't really quite get it out of that one, but absolutely fantastic to have you here on stream. Hopefully you're not too offended by the shirt on Mr. Richard Swindell's. I appreciate it's not for all audiences, but we do mark it for adults only this stream, ladies and gentlemen. But what an absolutely fantastic race. Imola coming up next week. That is one of my Princess approved tracks. Who do you think's going to stand out there, Richard?
Well, I think it all depends who shows up, first of all. Based on this week, Ryan did good, but he hasn't been there every week. So I'm looking for Neil McDougall to try and make some of those positions back.
Absolutely. And as before we went into this as well, the championship standings right now, Mark Miller was ahead with Philip Adams in second and Neil McDougall in third. Obviously, Adams not quite getting the result that he needed, so he's definitely going to have some work for him to do at Imola. But ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Daniel Sippy Salmon. Joining me in the booth on the right-hand side of the screen, Richard Swindells with the most outrageous shirts yet again. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week live on Pit Road Productions.
Good night, folks.
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I just realized that I forgot to update that graphic for quite some time. So next round is at Imola, and this time next week.